All right, folks, here we go. BangTheBook.com. Brian Blessing with you, wrapping up the divisional round of the playoffs. Let's preview the games on Sunday. And actually, these could be really interesting football games. Follow along on Twitter at Bang the Book. Listen to the Sports Betting Podcast. I have the good fortune to join Adam Burke on Tuesdays. Try to get you all kinds of good information from Las Vegas. Glad to be with you, BangTheBook.com. Brian Blessing in Vegas. Let's get after it on Sunday with Jacksonville and Pittsburgh. And we're looking at the Steelers laying 7.5 points virtually everywhere. There are a handful of properties have -7, -20. I got to believe the game closes above 7. The total in the game is 41. And the crazy thing is I look at this game, and we know Jacksonville couldn't get out of their own way last week offensively. I think this is a game that actually could feature an awful lot of points. I think it's a low total. We know Jacksonville's defense gave Roethlisberger fits earlier in the year, 30-9. The Jags won that game. Last week, Bortles was just a disaster. But here's the thing. If Pittsburgh gets the lead and you force Bortles to throw, he may get some garbage scores, but he may also throw a pick six. And we know Antonio Brown is back in practicing. The skill positions for the Steelers, they're just loaded. With Bell can put up a boatload of points himself. Brown's practicing. Latavius Bryant, Eli Rogers. The tight ends are good. And don't forget the kid, Juju Smith-Schuster. I think you get a lot of points in this game. I don't know about the side. I got to be honest with you. I think Jacksonville's defense can create some turnovers. Roethlisberger's a pretty stationary target. But Jacksonville got to do a better job offensively. They were just awful. And the reality of it is if Buffalo didn't go brain dead with their offensive coordinator, Rick Dennison, and throwing the ball on 1st and goal from the 1, where they took an offensive pass interference penalty. If Buffalo run it in there and got a 7-0 lead, I got news for you. Buffalo was winning the game. Their defense played lights out against the Jags. Look for a better outing by Jacksonville against the Steelers. Don't forget, coming off a bit of a layoff here. But I do think the defenses will create short fields, maybe for both teams here, that could produce points. I'd kind of like the over in the game, to be honest with you. The really compelling game is New Orleans and Minnesota, with Minnesota laying 4. Total in the game is 45. Now, before the playoffs started, I said, man, Minnesota is just in the catbird seat here. If indeed Philadelphia's flawed, Minnesota could go to Philly if they had to and win a game, but they'd also get the opportunity to host the championship game. You know what? The exact same scenario is in play for New Orleans. And this could be a game that who has the ball last wins. We know Minnesota gets off the ball defensively at home. Keenum's been phenomenal for them. But I tell you what, with New Orleans, they played last week. They've got a rhythm. But it's been their running game and a defense for New Orleans. It's not Drew Brees slinging it all over the place. And the thing that makes New Orleans extra dangerous is their versatility, because if they get the lead, Kamara, Ingram running the football, they can run the football and close games out. But if, for whatever reason, they get behind, who would you rather have slinging it around when you have to play catch-up to produce points through the air, and they've got Drew Brees? So New Orleans' versatility is a very intriguing factor in this game. I just flat out look at this as a great football game. Could come down to the wire, who's got the football last. I might be inclined here to take the points with New Orleans. Just looking for maybe the best game of the weekend here as the get-out game that will send us to championship weekend. Hard to believe the football season is pretty much all said and done. Lots of props are going to be on the board. Follow along on Twitter at Bang the Book. Don't forget the Sports Betting Podcast with Adam Burke. Brian Blessing, glad to be with you. BangTheBook.com, always trying to get you the best of the number and some information with the thoughts from Las Vegas.